Greetings, Bonjour, Tanzi, Kwekwe, Anin. It's Catherine from Moonstarlodge in Tiny, Ontario, with your reading for the week of July 31st to August 6th. I can't even believe I'm saying that. If you're new to this channel, we run an Indigenous lodge. We've been doing work in the fields of Indigenous art, spirituality, and education for 42 years. And cartomancy is something that I have done for almost 50 years this year. And we do a weekly reading, and towards the end of the week, on a Thursday, we top it up with some icing on that cake and add some additional information. I remind you that as of the 31st, today, the astrological readings for all 12 signs are now up on YouTube, and this is an experiment. We're looking to see how many people like and subscribe based on this. We will add this for October. Right now it's an experiment for August and September. If we don't get more likes and subscriptions, it just means people aren't interested. But I hope you're interested in this week's reading. It is incredibly spiritual. It was the wrong week for me to put makeup on because this has brought out some emotional things for me as I lay out the cards, which I do ahead of time because I have rheumatoid arthritis and shuffling and handling cards is messy. Just ask Brian there over on the control desk because he has to pick them up half the time. So without further ado, we are talking about things of the soul this week. I was pulled back to work with The Shimmering Veil by Cilla Conway. Cilla Conway is a dear, savvy individual. The Healing Spirits by Gordon Smith. Of course, if you know this channel, you know that these guys want to be the cards representing the ancestors. New to me this week, which is very much a trigger, is the Mary Magdalene Oracle. I've waited for years for the Oracle to come out. The book actually came out first in around 2017 by Megan Watterson. The Voice of the Soul's Oracle. We can't do soul work without that one. Let me just move this. And to go with the Shimmering Veil, the next three are all by Cilla Conway. The Book of the Dead Oracle, the Multi-Dimensional Divas, and the 11 Dimensions of Creation. So she talks my talk. And the Divas of Creation, working with the energies of the universe. All these are by Cilla Conway. So the Shimmering Veil is the principal tarot, and the rest of the decks I've shown you are the support cards, clarifiers, if you will. So all of these have to do with the soul. And in this week of the 31st to August 6th, we're looking at the third quarter of She Who Heals. And I've spoken of this grandmother, this indigenous grandmother, who shapeshifts between the moon, an elder female, and an owl. There are 13 moon cycles, 13 grandmothers, 13 owls, and one moon moving between its phases. So, Brian, let's go to the cards, please. Miigwech. So we start with the Six of Cups. Looks like children playing. Maybe it's a sand dune on a beach, but there are trees, and it's the reminiscences of this person as she thinks of childhood. It's a good place to be in the summer as we think back of days gone by, and hopefully the positive parts, the parts that remind us of our humanness and the joyfulness of things past. The card that clarifies it, Cilla painted just at the beginning of COVID. And it's card called Global Healing. And it's a reflection of the need to look at what we need to heal ourselves. Perhaps it is from something from the past. These don't always or aren't always positive memories. But global healing and healing the earth. And we saw at the beginning of the pandemic that in Venice, the waterways became, or the canals became clear and dolphins returned. Things of this nature. We were able to see that if we give some space to Turtle Mother, the earth, she heals. The cleaning up, and that's what we're doing here. We're cleaning up and looking with softness and kindness on the good and the bad. It's followed by the Six of air or swords, and the boat sailing from troubled waters to a calmer shore. It's a time to move on from something that has been troublesome and difficult. Perhaps it is the memories, perhaps it is something more concrete, but we are steering this boat to new shores. And this card that clarifies it is autumn. This autumn card, it would be very hard to see, but there's the crows are in a flock, moving about wildly. The winds are blowing, the leaves are falling. It's cleaning up the earth differently in preparation for the solitude time of winter. And we are being asked here by Spirit to remove that which no longer serves us, to look at ourselves with kindness, and to let go of those things by autumn, because autumn is coming. And I'm not talking about those of us in the autumn of life. I'm talking about the ability to let go and release, because this is she who heals. So this is exactly what this grandmother can assist us with if we interact with her. What's wonderful is we have a king here of cups or water, Neptune, and this is a loving, full-hearted, open-hearted, spiritual being who extends love, is fluid, malleable, emotionally mature, and he's giving us a greeting. This card is from the Book of the Dead. It's about the greeting and the awareness of how we need to look at ourselves with compassion. How our guides and teachers don't view us with any sense that they need to shake a finger and point out all our blemishes. It's quite the opposite. So this lovingness of the King of Cups, I don't know how many times I've had the King of Cups, both upright and reversed, in the last few weeks. So I feel very personally this message. This card is the Seven of Wands. So as we move through this journey of this week in the third quarter of She Who Heals, it's being in a superior position to defend the passions and pursuits that we're going after. Previous readings in previous weeks have talked about the movement in a new direction. So we're getting that message. Our movement is continuing. It's clarified by the mirror effect, which is an interesting card. It speaks of what we see as problems or issues with other people is typically a reflection of really what we see in ourselves. And this is both a personal thing and a community thing. There's two parts to this card. The soul talks about letting go of judgment. And when I get to the Mary Magdalene card, you'll see how that fits in. Letting go of judgment of others, because what in fact we're really doing is judging ourselves. But from the spirit guide's perspective of this card, this is about being at a time and a place when we choose who is our family and who is our community, and letting go the ones who are judging us, letting go the ones whose relationship is perhaps not just stagnant, but bad for us. We're being discerning here. So we're discerning what's good and defending what we need by making the choices to choose who we keep around us without judgment, just saying, I'm letting go. So it harkens back to this card here. The following is another court card. This is the Queen of Wands, and she is a very lovely, very vivacious soul who is magnetic and passionate and wonderful about what it is that she desires. She's got the right view of life. So her energy permeates this as well. She's a good balance for the King of Water, to be honest. The best of what we could want in life is represented in these two cards. The Queen is giving us the energy to move forward. But the clarifier from the Mary Magdalene deck is judgment. The whole point in life is to be human and to stop judging our choices, judging ourselves, putting the vibration that's in our own auric fields to a much lower point, because judgment is a very, very low vibration. It has a lot of fear. It has a lot of separation. So us and them, and we are not separate from Source. We are of Source. So this judgment seems to be an ongoing issue here. We just need to let it go. To live and let go what no longer serves us. Those who perhaps judge us fairly or unfairly, we need to let go what isn't serving. We move on here to this card. Wow. This is a wild card. This is about, I believe, disruption. This is about allowing, standing firmly, arms out, being able to let the winds of change work with us as we move through here. And what's interesting is it's clarified by the Magician. We are anticipating that the alchemy created by the ancestors, there are no tricksters in this bunch. Historic Marseille deck meanings of the Magician, the Batailleur, is to be a keeper of the sleight of hand, somebody trying to bamboozle us. But a contemporary meaning, it also includes the alchemist, the one able to use all the elements and make magical things happen, and a manifestor. Really, the Magician is a manifestor. So we have the energy of the ancestors helping us manifest that which is new. And finally, this is the World. In this deck, there is a Fool card that is very basic, but by the time we get to this deck, this end of the deck, this is the World card, and it's absolutely fabulous. It's the end of the journey, all the things learned, everything this week is karmic, and it's clarified by a spiritual hug. Again, this is an ancestors card. Those in spirit are giving us a hug for being successful, letting go of judgment, letting go of the things that no longer serve, cleaning it up, moving on, embracing the energies of the empathic, beautiful soul that is the King of Cups, and the firebrand with the passionate inspiritus of this magical queen, holding on to what serves us and defending it without judgment. You can flip the camera, Brian. I have no words, but I guess I have to have some words here. I've been going through my own spiritual metamorphosis, so this speaks to me at a level that's very different. When I trained as a shaman for those 11 and a half years that I did that, all after university and all after being a spiritualist minister and all of that stuff, I learned about compassionate detachment from outcome. You give your healing, you do your work, but you stay detached so you remain objective. When I've been listening to the works of Peter Cater and R. Carlos Nakai and Associates in the past few weeks and reliving the experiences of albums that I owned with Brian on CD for nearly 25 years, we gave them all away and I downloaded them again digitally, and I realized this was the time that they would speak to me even beyond the healing intergenerationally, karmically, much good. So I really resonate to this reading this week, and I hope you do too. This is a collective reading, so it's going to speak to most people, I hope, and it may be doesn't speak to you until next week or 2 weeks from now, but we are part of all source, so it will speak to us at some point. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It certainly helps us with the machinations of dealing with YouTube and Google. And if you can, send us a coffee. All our contact information is down in the information section of this video, and Linktree, all those resources. And I will do readings again privately in the fall. Kichi miigwech, nyawe, aho.